hobbies and interests are constantly changing. A stray thought leads to a fleeting obsession, but a Bedford teen picked up an unusual hobby at the very young age of 3, and it stuck.
Yeah, this is interesting. He loves to ride elevators. He travels to big cities with tall buildings just to take the lifts.
And so far, he says he's ridden more than 1,400. Karen Meyers sits down, or is it up with him?
In a city of skyscrapers, the John Hancock Tower stands the tallest of them all, 62 stories, shooting high into the sky above Boston. Dylan Villela dreams of riding the elevator to the top.
I've never gotten into that building. I walked into the lobby once and we were told to leave because we weren't visiting someone.
But the 15-year-old elevator enthusiast has ridden just about every other lift in Boston, New York City, and New Hampshire.
I'll go to Manchester and I'll go to the Brady Sullivan Plaza. It's 20 floors. You know, that's the best you can get in New Hampshire.
He ventures from his home in Bedford to big cities to feed his passion.
When you go to New York City, it's like the 60-floor hotels, and that just brings so much joy to me.
His mom surprised him this summer with a birthday trip to the Big Apple, although she didn't quite know what she was getting herself into.
You know, warned my mom, I'm like, Mom, I'm making this plan. I mapped it all out of where we were going to go, you know, street by street.
They rode 110 elevators in one day.
We got up at like 6 in the morning, had breakfast, and went out and got back at like, 10 o'clock at night. And I don't even know how my mom survived.
Oh, exhausted. When I get back at night, my legs, I just want to collapse. The first night, we didn't even go out to dinner. I think we got room service. And Dylan wasn't done. He's like, I'm going to go ride the elevator downstairs.
It was amazing. And it's just crazy to think about, like, every hotel I went to was like 30 floors or above. So it was like I was in like my natural habitat.
Dylan's obsession with elevators began when he was 3. His grandfather took him for joyrides.
I felt this motion of me, going up. And I was like, well, this is cool. So, we did that about 5 times. And then he took me to a second place and we did the same thing.
Dylan was hooked. Riding elevators became his sport. He reads elevator manuals for fun. Throw out a random building or hotel and he'll rattle off the elevator's specs. The Plaza in New York, what kind of elevator?
Yeah, those have Otis elevators, and a cool thing about them is that those are not the original elevators.
How about the Westin Copley Place in Boston?
So those elevators are Fujitec elevators. They're 36 floors, 800 feet per minute, 3,500 pound capacity.
He collects facts and artifacts. His bedroom looks like a museum.
This is where I keep a lot of my stuff.
Old elevator control panels, lights, and buttons.
This actually came out of the old Macy's in Bedford.
Memorabilia from his 1,400 elevator rides. Dylan mainly travels in hotel lists because the lobbies are open to the public. We tag along as he and his mom cruise the Grand Dame of Boston, the Fairmont Copley Plaza.
Oh, here's the elevators. They're gold.
Oh, yeah.
Between floors, Dylan sizes up the lift.
I like how they modernized it to still have the old cab.
He'll drag anyone he can on his excursions. Mom is usually game.
It got a little overwhelming. It took a lot of getting used to.
But his little sister, there's only one way Dylan gets her to come along.
He buys me.
11-year-old Lexi, not a fan of loitering on lifts.
They're so boring. I do not enjoy them at all.
Dylan finds fellow hobbyists online. His personal YouTube channel, where he posts video of his elevator rides, boasts more than 600 followers.
I always get asked, what is it about it that you like? And, it's everything. Mechanics and just how it works and everything.
He's got his favorites, The fastest,
1,600 feet per minute, and that was in the One World Trade Center in New York City.
the coolest,
It's 45 floors, and the elevators are glass. And that is like my favorite elevator of all time. It's the Marriott Marquis in Times Square.
and of course, his fantasy.
What's your big dream around here?
The John Hancock. That's my dream.
You
Yeah.
can't go in there?
No,
Why?
because the security's so tight.
Well, we have a surprise for you today.
Really?
We actually got permission for you to ride the elevator at the John Hancock
Really?
all the way to the top.
Oh my god. That's like my dream.
You're excited? You're
Yeah.
your mom? Sharing this with your mom?
Awed and wide-eyed, Dylan takes in the soaring office building.
Isn't this crazy?
Not much time to study the intricacies of the cab. The ride to the top, less than a minute. It's about as fast as any elevator travels.
They probably go 1,400, 1,600 feet per minute.
Now, just 2 stories to climb for a crystal clear panorama of Boston. Dylan is treated to a rooftop view, 790 feet above the city. And although he regards the sights nothing short of spectacular, it's the elevators, don't you know, that Dylan finds most impressive.
This is probably the coolest elevator I've ever been in.
Coming up, meters in your snood.
Coming up next, and we just really love where we live, and we just want to really represent it in a really positive way.